Hi, I'm Canedy. I'm an equestrian professional based out of Wales, Maine, and I primarily focus on eventing, dressage, and a lot of natural horsemanship. In my personal riding career, I learned that it was really important to do some inner exploration and figure out how to better come to my horses, my people, and to my life in general. And that led me down a path through social work, meditation, and other modalities to really bring a different type of focus to my professional work. And I hope that that can be useful for you too. So in this course, we're going to talk about how people energetically and emotionally come to their horse on a daily basis. And this is something that people really need to do before they even get to the barn and are interacting with their horse. And it's not something that you're necessarily going to be doing in traditional riding lessons. It's a little bit of prep work that's really going to help you and your horse communicate better and work on the same page and on the same team. All right, so in this section, we're going to talk a little bit about how horses exist versus how humans exist. So horses typically exist in the present moment. They aren't the kind of animals that stand around wondering about what they did yesterday and if it was the right choice or what they're going to be doing tomorrow and if that's going to be hard or difficult. They are literally existing right where they are in that moment, and their natural instinct kicks in when they need to act in certain ways. Humans, on the other hand, have a completely different way of existing in the world. We generally, because of our high capacity for processing, think a lot about what we did in the past, in the recent past and distant past, and a lot about what's going to happen. And we spend a lot of our time kind of pulling at things that we want and pushing away things that we don't. And horses just don't do that in their day-to-day lives. So sometimes that creates a little bit of confusion and tension between us because we often assume that our horses are existing in that same way. So if I were to put a little visual to that to kind of help myself understand it, I would look at this timeline, this being the past and this being the future. And my horse and all of your horses, they hang out right about here in this bubble. Humans, on the other hand, tend to exist in more of a spectrum. So we overlap. We hang out in the same place sometimes, but oftentimes, especially, I would say, when we're stressed or anxious or worked up about something that's happening in our lives, we hang out generally more here and more here. And we actually miss each other in this present moment. And that's actually a really important thing because we're going to end up speaking completely different languages if we're not actually hanging out in the same place. So horses are prey animals by nature. They can relax and hang out and do what they need to do to survive, graze, find water, and always just be half an ear or half an eye on alert for something that might come and find them, a predator. So when something disrupts a horse's environment, their reaction can be really big and really strong because their survival instinct kicks in. They have to either fight or flee, and generally a horse is going to choose to flee. So people differ from horses in this way. We are at the top of the food chain, which means we don't have to be on alert at all times. We can live a little in the past, a little thinking in the future. We don't really even have to have our eyes or our ears open for anything around us. We are really good at just kind of shutting out what's happening around us and tuning in to our own personal world. So we all understand this. We understand the idea that our horses exist in the present and we're often pulled into the past or into the future. But why does that matter? Why is it important? If you can still get to the barn and ride your horse and check your phone and do all the things you need to do, why does it matter if you're not exactly in the same space as your horse? And I think the problem becomes that when you aren't where your horse is in the present moment, you can sometimes just be going through the motions. You can get on, you can do your walk, trot, canter, you can jump a few jumps, but are you actually communicating? Are you able to actually feel what your horse is doing in that moment? Are you able to understand where they are emotionally, energetically? And are you guys able to work as a team in the way that you know you probably could if you were a little more focused? It can lead long run into those places where problematic behaviors start to arise and you've missed why they've started because you weren't there and present when it started to happen in the first place. So being present with your horse has a huge impact on your long-term training goals and your day-to-day happiness with your horse.